Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
A continuación, Voces en Acción, el programa comunitario que informa a la comunidad latina. Voces en Acción, la verdad en acción. Voices in Action, the truth in action. Now, con ustedes, Jenny Ibarra.
Check, check. See, I can hear me. Now I can't hear you. What did you do?
Do you have to press any button right here? Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches, donde quiera que usted esté. Gracias por estar con nosotros en Voces en Acción. Nuevamente Jenny Rosales, su anfitriona, para traerle lo último que está pasando en nuestra área. Y hoy tengo el inmenso honor de tener con nosotros a una persona que está trabajando a nivel nacional sobre todo lo que significa Dios, Jesús y la política. Y vamos a aprender de ella porque es una persona que ha estado en más de 20 años en política y ha trabajado no solamente conjuntamente como ella, como corriendo para una posición de Congreso, sino también bajo diferentes congresistas. Es una persona que tiene a Dios adentro porque ahora creó una organización con el nombre de Cristianos Comprometidos o Engage. La traducción sería Cristianos Comprometidos. La señora se llama Bunni Pounds y ella está con nosotros mediante Zoom y va a hablar con nosotros. Good day, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for being with Voces en Acción. Jenny Rosales here, your host again, bringing you the latest information around the world, around Texas, Houston, United States, whatever it comes, I get you the information. Today I'm honored because I have with me a marvelous human being, somebody that we should have a lot of them in the government. She has been devoting her more than 20 years with government and Jesus within it. That means she has decided that, yes, there's no separation of state and religion according to what it is. Because in the Bible, it says directly that He is leading us to get the correct rulers, the ones that we need to have in order for us to have the freedom that we have. So I'm going to go ahead and address her in a minute. But first of all, I would like to thank First Financial Bank for being our supporters. Like usual, First Financial Bank has been there since 1889 eventually. I keep saying 1900, so it's 1889. They've been here with us in the community. And First Financial Bank is devoting to give you all the financial background and necessities covered by them. So contact them to their number 936 439-1800, 936-439-1800. Como digo, costumbre, nuestro patrocinador, tengo que darle las gracias, First Financial Bank, por estar con nosotros. Cualquier pregunta que tengan respecto de su financiamiento, llámenlos a 936-439-1800. Ellos van a estar a la disposición de poderle ayudar financieramente. Gracias, First Financial Bank, por darnos el soporte en todo este tiempo. Como dije anteriormente, la señora Bunni Pounds está con nosotros y voy a hablar con ella. Bunni, thank you so much for being with us. It's been an honor having you. You have written, for me, it was like, oh God, I finally got somebody that's able to talk to me about the truth that we, as a Hispanic, as a community, we have no knowledge about. And you had, by creating Christians Engaged, you have opened a whole world for me. Okay. I can imagine the people that are reading your book, because I'm serious. This book is amazing. I started reading and I'm like, my husband's like, are you crazy? I said, no, I'm not. And I keep reading to him because it makes sense. Thank you for being with us and thank you for the honor.
Well, thank you, Jenny. You made me tired, all that Spanish and English altogether. But that is what America looks like. We are so diverse, and God has a plan for all of us. And it is really an honor to talk to you and to talk to your community. And really, you talked about separation of church and state. Really, God has called us to let our light shine in every place of society, right? Everything that we do is for his glory if we're believers in him. And we believe in Jesus. And so that's really what the book's about. And that's what my story is about, is taking Jesus everywhere I go. And that really should be the call of all of us.
Ella está diciendo básicamente que sí, se habla de la separación de Estado y de religión, como siempre, pero automáticamente el Señor nos ha llamado para que la luz de Él esté iluminándose por todos lados, tanto en lo político como en lo económico, como en todos lados, en toda parte de la sociedad. Y ese es el llamado que Christians Engage tiene. Ella como representante y como fundadora, como presidenta de la organización Christians Engage, ha abierto esto a cabalidad para que todos nosotros entendamos de que realmente es el trabajo de nosotros iluminar, llevar la luz de Cristo en todos lados. Eso es parte de lo que ella está diciendo. Bunny, I'm going to go ahead and go to your background because eventually you have an amazing background and I love that. Your mother, eventually, you know, we Hispanic people, we tend to kind of find out who you are and, you know, where you came from and you have kids if you're married or whatever. Mr. Tim Mr. Tim Pounds is an amazing person and I enjoy you too several times that I meet with you and he's always working with you and your staff and, you know, giving you that support. So I'm going to say basically she's married. She has 2 beautiful boys and you have a grandkid. I heard him, all right?
I have 2 grandbabies now, one that's a year old and one that was just born a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's so
I'm
cool.
excited.
So you're a nana. That's good. Isn't that nice? I love it. I'm a nana too. I have 2. So that is
Yes.
magnificent. And you live in the area of Dallas. Am I right? Okay, so
Yes, we live in Richardson, Texas.
Richardson, Texas. You live close to my son. My son is close to Richmond, Texas. Frisco. Frisco, that's where he's at right now. But well, going back to it, I see that you work for more than 20 years, basically in Washington, D.C. area or in Texas area?
Well, I worked in Texas politics, but I worked for members of Congress
Exactly.
from this area. Yeah.
So
So
you
I
was-
worked for members of Congress all over the country.
All
but I
over the
worked
country.
In Texas, yes.
Okay, perfect. And then you said that it was designed to engage people. This is a non-partisan ministry. Okay, and then let me explain this in Spanish. La creación de Christian Engage es una fundación que se encarga, que no participan, o sea, no tiene elección de un partido por sí, y hace un ministerio donde ellos despiertan y educan a las personas que creen en Cristo Jesús para que oren y sepan tomar la manera correcta de elegir a los oficiales que los representan, para que vayan a votar, ¿ok? Porque eso hace el impacto de mejorar la cultura, para que ustedes se mantengan activos y comunicados y comprometidos con una organización cívica educativa y al mismo tiempo se eduquen cívicamente. Y esto es para el beneficio de América. Okay, I'm sorry, I just translated the whole first sentence, as you can see. And then basically your mind is like, well, I have to get out of not only politics, but I have to go about Jesus. How do you came to that? And I'm so sorry. What makes you go ahead and like, hey, I'm going to wake up and today I'm going to just go ahead and create a huge organization, because we're talking about a huge organization. And this one is going to be ruling with God.
Well, I was really burdened in government and politics that there were enough Christians involved in the process. And really, when you look at the national statistics of those that call ourselves born again Christians, whether we're Catholic or Protestant, there's really no difference between our voting patterns and the general public. We're not participating at the level that we need to be participating.
So there's not a
in.
pattern. That means that you don't have a statistic that says, Christians are voting more than the ones that are not Christians or the ones that are Catholics. Or, there's not a pattern. There's not a difference.
There's no real difference. It's just like, I hate to say this, the divorce rate of those that call ourselves Christians are similar to what secular people are. We have the same problem with civic engagement. We're not engaging, and we're not, we could really make a difference. And so I saw this need and this pattern, and I'm like, we need to have more Christians running for office. We need to have more Christians engaged as staffers and activists and talking about the issues that we care about and the issues that the Bible talks about and how it should affect society. And so that's why I created Christians Engage, was to activate the body of Christ around America to do 3 simple things: pray, vote, and engage. And in that, we can really make a difference.
Okay, ella crea Christians Engage o Cristianos Comprometidos. Lo hace porque ella cree que son 3 básicas cosas que necesitamos tener. 1, votar. 2, mantenernos en un compromiso completo con la nación y con el mundo. Y 3, orar por cada una de las personas que están representándonos. Entonces, básicamente, le pregunté a Nantito, o sea, ¿cómo hiciste para poder, solamente te levantaste un día y decidiste hacerlo así por a nada? Me dice, no, Jenny, yo vi que no hay demasiadas personas cristianas que nos están representando en el poder. Ese es el problema grande, cuando no había una falta de cristianos que estaban siendo elegidos para posiciones gubernamentales, y eso es lo que ella veía. Eso automáticamente no llenaban lo que nosotros como cristianos estábamos buscando. No eran personas que estaban realmente haciendo el trabajo de una persona cristiana, sino una persona secular, una persona que realmente no le importaba, no estaba trabajando para sí mismo o quizás representando a su comunidad a la manera que él quisiera. Entonces ella vio esa necesidad mientras que ella estuvo trabajando, porque ella ha trabajado en el Congreso, ha trabajado en Texas, en Congreso de Texas y en Texas completamente, representando a diferentes senadores, y ella misma corrió para una posición. I guess you run for Congress, am I right as well?
I did.
Yes.
I ran for Congress in 2018.
Ella
was the only female that made it to the Republican runoff ballot in 2018.
Okay, ella fue la primera y única mujer que fue endorsada por Mike Pence, okay, nuestro vicepresidente, ex vicepresidente, y es la única mujer en la balota, en el papel de votación que hubo del partido republicano para ser elegidos para el Congreso. Ella no ganó, pero simple y sencillamente fue la única mujer. Entonces, automáticamente tenemos que ver que ella también trató de hacer lo suyo. That means you try to do this yourself. That means you try to get to that position where you fight for the rights of others, and at the same time being there in power, being an elected woman. I guess you had, of course, you have a bachelor's in science. So you had the whole kabang. You graduated, you have the degrees and everything. But isn't that scary, Bunny? It's just, to me, it would have been scary. As a woman, how do you feel?
It's always scary to do something that you feel like you can't do without supernatural power. What happened was I got addicted to doing something that I knew was impossible if I didn't have God with me. And so after the race for Congress, I lost by just a couple thousand votes against a current state representative that is now the member of Congress. And Congressman Lance Gooden and I are dear friends now. I'm very thankful for his support, even of my new book coming out. But what it taught me was that we have to really pursue the destiny and purposes for our life. And sometimes we stay back out of fear. We're afraid to get into places where there might be potential conflict, or we might have to believe for more money than we have in our checking account, or we have to do something that's hard. And what I learned through the process of 2018 was that God loves us to live on the edge and to push forward to our dreams and purposes. And so I kind of got addicted to that. And that's why we started Christians Engaged.
Okay.
We had to start an organization that would push people to that level.
Okay. Ella está casada. El esposo se llama Bunni Pounds. Un hombre magnífico. Tiene 2 hijos varones. Tiene 2 nietos, uno recién nacido, una mujer comprometida con su hogar y una mujer que ha tomado el riesgo, porque le acabo de preguntar, ¿no te sientes con miedo? ¿Sabes lo que ponerte en el verge de unas votaciones? Porque ella corrió para el Congreso. Estuvo corta por unos cuantos miles de votos, pero llegó a lo que es la propuesta y la gente la escuchó. Entonces, le digo, ¿no te da miedo? Me dice Jenny, Dios no quiere a nosotros que nos arriesguemos, que salgamos de lo que es nuestra zona de confort y busquemos la manera de cómo propagar su palabra, cómo trabajar. A ella le gusta la política, está graduada como bachiller en ciencias políticas, tiene una de la Universidad de Dallas Baptist Church y tiene un asociado en teología del Instituto Nacional de Dallas de Teología. Automáticamente es una mujer preparadísima, ha trabajado con congresistas, tiene más de 20 años, pero ella se arriesgó porque dice que tiene que tomar el riesgo para poder sobrevivir, para saber que el único que tiene el control de tu vida es Dios, Jesús. Tú estás llevando la palabra de Él y eso es lo que tú tienes que ver. Y por eso fue que ella creó Christian Engage, porque ella se dio cuenta que tenía que seguir ese trabajo. Fuera de lo que es el venue político, ella continuó. Okay, so now you're outside of the political venue completely, but you're endorsing a lot of people because I've seen you everywhere. You're going to real rallies, you're going to meetings, you're going to a lot of assemblies, and you have gone to 125 churches lately, like, all over the world. To me, it's all over the world because it's all over the world of a religion, and you have exposed Christian Engage. I know that you had issues with IRS as well. How do you feel about that? Now, in the top of doing that, having your kids, your family, you had to fight with the IRS to get recognized as a nonprofit. How do you do that? Because I'm sorry, that was a lot. Okay, IRS is a blockage. Boom. If they don't like you, they don't give you the exemption. How do you manage that?
Well, first of all, we don't endorse candidates specifically, but we encourage Christians to pray for their elected officials across party lines. We encourage them to vote in every election and to, quote, vote biblical values, which means they have to understand what the scriptures say about issues. The Bible has a lot to say about the issues of our day. And then they have to vote those values, meaning if you have an elected official that's pro-life, that believes in the sanctity of human life, and that's a biblical value, you need to vote for that candidate, not the one that wants to kill babies in the womb. And most Christians would agree on that issue as an example. And then we encourage Christians through our classes, our free podcasts.
So basically, you register as an educational, like me, educational venue versus more like the politician part of it. So you have to appeal to IRS so they can give you the exempt taxes license. Am I right?
Right. So we're just an educational, a nonprofit, and there was nothing in what we do that the IRS should have denied our tax exempt status, but they did in 2021, and it became a huge national fight. Where they were literally crucifying us for having bios because a lot of us were former politicians in the Republican Party. So they thought we were taking our educational things and pushing them towards Republican candidates.
Oh, because of both of your board members and your staff. Oh my God, that's incredible. That's incredible.
So the IRS sent me a letter saying, Bible teachings, this is quote unquote from the IRS letter, Bible teachings are typically affiliated with the Republican Party and candidates. So therefore, we're denying you your tax exempt status. And I was thinking, well, I think every pastor and minister in the country would have a problem with that, because if they're teaching the Bible, then they're now pushing Republican politics. No, of course, that's not the case.
Exactly.
And so we fought that case with our friends at First Liberty, and we won in 21 days and got a reversal, and we're a tax exempt.
Thanks the Lord. See, He opens the ways, girl. That's what it is. Estoy hablando con ella referente que ella tuvo un encontrón con el Departamento de Interno de Revenue, Internal Revenue Department, Departamento de IRS, porque ellos aplicaron para lo que se llama una exención de impuestos, básicamente como si fueran una organización sin lucros. y automáticamente el AERES le manda una carta y le dice a ella, bueno, si usted está hablando sobre política y sobre Jesús en la política, automáticamente usted está representando al partido político republicano. Entonces ella le contestó, le digo, pero es un momentito, no, eso es un problema grandísimo porque hay un montón de demócratas y de otros partidos que no son solamente republicanos y que creen en Jesús y hacen las cosas según la Biblia. Y yo me estoy basando en el motivo bíblico. Entonces tuvo que pelear porque le negaron la licencia y tuvo que pelear la licencia y eso fue a nivel nacional, eso fue un escándalo a nivel nacional y después de 21 días ganaron la licencia porque no pudieron comprobar que eso, porque lo que pasa es que ellos estaban viendo a quiénes eran los que estaban en la junta directiva, quiénes la parte, el background de cada una de las personas que pertenecían a la organización y como la mayoría son republicanos, automáticamente querían decir, bueno, esta organización es republicana, está tirándose a los republicanos. No, ella le dijo, no, esta organización es cristiana. Nosotros vamos a educar a las personas en lo que es realmente que habla la Biblia con referente a la política, porque eso es lo que se está pidiendo en este momento, de que automáticamente las personas que me respalden o estén conmigo crean en Cristo y estén basados en lo que dice la Biblia. No los hace solamente republicanos, tiene que ser, ellos están trabajando, estamos hablando de la parte educativa de este proceso y ganaron. I'm so glad that you won because basically, that's a hard battle to win, to tell you the truth. Nowadays, IRS is not easy. It's not easy. And I'm telling you because I'm going through the whole thing. But at the same time, what I'm looking at is that your strength of going from town to town, from city to city, trying to get people to register to your engage, because I know that you have a podcast, and in the top of that, you have the prayer line, the prayer commitment. And I did it last night. I finally did it. I was like, oh God, I got to go in. So now I'm registering and I'm going to pray more than 5 minutes a day. I'm going to try to do more because eventually that's what I do. Like you, I love politics. I do love politics, but I am more into the educational part of it because my community is ignorant about a lot of stuff. They don't know. They're coming from other countries. They don't know what they're facing in America and how the system works. So that's why I brought you into the radio. And thank you so much. The other question I have for you, you said that besides you wrote 8 books. All of them are in regards to politics, or just this one lately? All of them are based on politics?
Well, I mix Jesus and politics. So I have 2 discipleship books called Kingdom Life Discipleship. You can get on Amazon and other booksellers.
Okay.
They're like Bible studies, kind of like a Beth Moore Bible studies.
Okay.
That discuss basic Christian doctrines. We have a Pray, Vote, and Engage mini books, and then we have 3 devotional books that also have stories about politics in it. Those are all on our Christians Engaged website.
Okay, Bunni, ella escribió 8 libros. Usted puede meterse en Amazon y chequearlos. Están ahí escritos para ayudarlo en que usted entienda cómo la iglesia o cómo la Biblia habla sobre lo que es la política y cómo usted educarse. Ella tiene lo que es un podcast, lo tiene, así de esto también tiene un grupo, una app donde usted se mete y usted hace un compromiso con ella, donde usted va a orar 5 minutos al día por los Estados Unidos, por su nación o por cualquier nación que esté pasando por estrés. Va a orar porque eso, va a comprometerse más cívicamente en hacer su punto realidad de que usted va a trabajar y estudiar acerca de lo que es el civismo, cómo es la ley, cómo se escribe la ley, qué es lo que nos representan, quién usted tiene que votar, por quién usted no tiene que votar, si usted sabe que usted es cristiano y usted está llamándose cristiano, usted sabe que usted no puede votar por una persona que está a favor del aborto, tiene que buscar por un candidato que está en contra del aborto. Eso es lo que usted tiene que buscar. Si usted sabe qué es lo que es un cristiano, que usted sabe que es una persona que va a ayudar, que quiere ayudarse, usted tiene que leer las plataformas, como siempre se lo he dicho, y buscar y orar. Lo que ella dice es orar. Mientras que usted ore más por cada candidato, usted automáticamente puede liberar cualquier problema que haya. Pues recuerda que la liberación del espíritu es mediante la oración. And I'm telling them basically that, but what I was reading is like the liberation of the spirit is through prayer. And then eventually in one of your, that the reason why, and I was reading and I highlighted it here. And it's so funny because it says right here, why to read this book. And I was reading the whole thing, and I was saying, through Christian Engage, you're equipping people to become more engaged in faith, family, and freedom. And then you go back to what it is, Proverbs 29:2, when it says, the righteous are the authority of the people that rejoice, but when the wicked man rules, the people groans. That's what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now. Okay, and that's that. You know, your book is amazing, and I saw too that this book is talking about you. It's not that you wrote it yourself, but it's people talking about you and how you have impacted them, and what you have done through Christian Engage. It is powerful. Are you planning to do this in Spanish?
I need to get Rafael Cruz to translate it for me. But yeah, the book is called Jesus and Politics, so people can see it there. Jesus and Politics. And you can pre-order it anywhere on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. But I wrote the book because I felt like, you know, Jesus taught through parables and he taught through stories. And it would be better for me to communicate what I'm trying to communicate, that every Christian needs to get involved with government, but not to do it in a textbook, boring style, but to share it through stories.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think I had a lot to tell until I started really outlining all of moments in my life that I felt made a difference in different elected officials. So the book is, number one, to teach people how to get engaged with government and politics as Christians and watch their hearts and walk with Jesus, but also to help those who are involved to walk with Jesus more, because nothing's going to matter if we're not in the Bible, if we're not staying in prayer, or we're not hearing from God. And part of my story is discipling elected officials, praying for members of Congress, believing for healing, believing that they can hear from God, and being that person, that sounding board in their life. And that's, people need, they need us. People in authority need us, and people in our life need us. And
Exactly.
So if we realize that we bring something of value to other people, we can really make a difference. That's what the book's about.
Ella está hablando sobre el libro, como se lo enseñé a ustedes. El libro está en inglés, pero le dice que ella va a tratar de ver si el pastor Rafael Cruz la ayuda a traducirlo. Es un libro muy grande, pero muy interesante. Ella habla sobre las historias diferentes de todo lo que ha pasado en su vida y deriva de todo lo que ha pasado ha sido mediante Jesús. Todos los problemas que ella se ha encontrado, se han solucionado mediante la palabra de Jesús. Ella dice que son historias, ella quiso escribirlo en forma, y está escrito en forma de parábolas, en forma de historias, ¿ok? Porque era la única manera que ella sentía que era menos aburrido para el lector. Entonces, tú te sientas y tú comienzas a ver, y si tú quieres en la parte de atrás, hasta fotos tiene, porque habla sobre las fotos de todas las experiencias que ella tiene con las personas con las que estaban en el libro, en el momento que pasaban las cosas que pasaba ella. Habla sobre el ejemplo, le acabo de decirles a ustedes, sobre lo de la IRS, habla sobre eso, habla sobre la llamada del señor Kevin McCarthy, o sea, todo. Ella habla aquí, ella automáticamente sabe lo que está diciendo de sus historias y los cuenta de una manera que alguien está relatando, hay una persona, un narrador sobre la historia que está pasando, de manera que usted se sienta y usted está viendo como la historia delante de usted desarrollándose. Es de que ella oró mucho, porque ella se la ha pasado todo el tiempo evangelizando a los políticos, ayudándolos a que ellos entiendan que esta nación está fundada por Dios. Y que Dios es el centro de esta nación, está en la Constitución de los Estados Unidos, we the people, under one God, ¿ok? Estamos nosotros aquí, la familia, todos, sobre un solo Dios. Entonces, ella está buscando que nosotros, los electos, los que están trabajando en la política, los que están trabajando representándonos a nosotros, sepan que Dios los está mirando, que Dios está con ellos y que ellos tienen que buscar. Ella dice que tenemos que orar. La oración es parte cotidiana de todo, no solamente en el diario vivir, sino también en la política, en la educación, en la cultura, en todo hay que orar, porque eso es lo único que nos guía hacia Él y es la manera que podemos mantener la libertad sobre todo, el freedom, que es lo que estamos buscando. Y en estos momentos estamos sin libertad, sin unión, sin ningún tipo de comunicación. Ya se nos ha cortado la libertad de expresión. Todo eso se está mirando. Entonces, Bunni con Christian Engage o Cristianos Comprometidos está tratando de dar la luz para que nosotros agarremos la antorcha y continuamos. O sea, I'm just letting them know that basically it's just taking the torch that you're giving, because you're giving the light and you have a torch. All of us, we need to have a torch. You're just going to put that light and we need to continue it. You know what I mean? Because we keep thinking that as Catholics, as Christians, that, politics. No, you don't talk about politics. I'm going to take a break, Bunni, because we need to take a break for our sponsors. But I'm going to go ahead and in the next session, I want you to talk to me in regards to that deepness. When I grew up in a socialist country, Panama, and we're going to talk about Panama right now because Panama is going through turbulence right now. And I want you to explain me how this torch is able to just be, what is happening in Panama, I want it to happen here. I'm going to be honest with you because I'm so happy that it's happening. People are just waking up to the reality that without God, they cannot do anything. So that's what I want. This movement in the United States, and for me to help you, how can the Hispanic community can join your venue, can help you with this. You know what I mean? So I'm going to take a break. Voy a coger unos minutos para poder volver con Bunni y hablar sobre cómo podemos ayudarla en esto, llevar la antorcha de la libertad. ¿Ok? Gracias. Hey, this is Jenny from Voces en Accion. First Financial Bank can help those who wish to purchase their own home but do not have a Social Security. Their IT and home loan can be a perfect option for those in that situation. They're able to be reached and they can help you at 936-439-1800. That number is 936-439-1800. The American Dream, it is at the reach with First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank, it is an equal housing lender, member of FIDC. Hola, soy yo, Jenny, de Voces en Acción, y vamos a hablar sobre nuestro patrocinador, First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank le puede ayudar a quienes desean comprar su propia casa, pero no tienen un número de seguro social. El préstamo hipotecario de ITN puede ser una opción perfecta para quienes están en esta situación. Estamos aquí para ayudarles y los puede contactar al 936-439-1800. El número es 936-439-1800. El sueño americano está al alcance con First Financial Bank. Prestamista de vivienda equitativa, miembro FIDC. Buenas tardes nuevamente con ustedes. Estamos de vuelta con la señora Bunni Pounds y vamos a hablar nuevamente esta vez sobre lo que le dije. Quiero hablar con la señora Bunni Pounds detenidamente sobre lo que está pasando en Latinoamérica, específicamente en mi tierra, en Panamá. Voy a hablar sobre eso porque muchos de ustedes no están viendo las noticias porque en las noticias no sale la información. Pero si usted se va a Rumble o se va a cualquiera de las noticias bajo el internet, usted va a ver todo lo que está pasando en Latinoamérica y sobre todo en estos momentos está pasando en Panamá. Panamá lleva más de un mes en huelgas en la calle, en donde la gente no tiene comida, pero están en la calle tirándose para pelear. Estamos hablando de miles de personas en Panamá. Somos 4 millones y le voy a decir sinceramente, nada más 4 millones para una tierra tan grande. Y están peleando porque hay un gobierno corrupto, el gobierno está completamente corroído completamente y después de que está corroído automáticamente también están haciendo que votaciones sobre vender más territorio para la minería abierta. Si no sabe lo que es minería abierta, no les puedo explicar en estos momentos, pero búsquelo. Minería abierta es lo que hace que destruye completamente la ecología de un país, tanto en el área marítima como en el terreno, como en el aire. Y nuestras futuras generaciones quedarían prácticamente intoxicadas con todo lo que toman y todo lo que quieren de la tierra. Bunni, I'm talking about to the Hispanic community what's going on right now. I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on with Panama. Panama right now, we're in the middle of a fight. There's been the last month, November is usually the month that we celebrate our independence from Colombia and the independence from the United States and all this, celebrations. But it has been a month of riots. Everybody's on the street. We're talking about we're a total of almost 4 million of us in the street. Okay, I can show you films that they're not even coming into CNN or ABC or NBC or none of the networks. It's coming down. I'm talking about you have to go to the Panamanian networks and you'll see what's going on because everybody's in the streets. The Indians have closed the borders. There's no transportation of goods to Panama City. In the outsides, there's no gas. In the inside of Panama, in the same capital, there's no vegetables. There's people lacking food in some areas. The water is not going. It's just a whole mess. Why? Because the government of Panama decided to sell more than 20-something thousand acres again to the mining, open air mining, which the open air mining, I know you kind of like are familiar with what it does. It destroys the ecology of the country and it destroys the water. And the Panama Canal is being affected completely right now of droughts because of the mining that is going on. So I'm going to be honest with you, I've never seen this. People out there, they're praying, they're kneeling down, they're with their Bibles, making riots with their Bibles on hand. They're singing hymns. They're just praying to God. They're just out there constantly. At the beginning, there was violence, but the violence stopped and everybody's going out now dressed in white. And they're all dressed in white, and everybody with the flag. And you have to see tons of people. It's incredible the amount of... I want something like that here in the United States. Why? Because that means that we are able to tell the government, no, we don't want this. You know what I mean? We have a vote to say. Is that ever going to happen here in Bunni?
Well, Jenny, what I'll say is what happened there is they woke up that the government could control their life and affect their life. And what's happening here is we're not awake that government affects our life. We got a little bit of an understanding of that in 2020 when the government came in, whether it's state or federal or local government, told us we couldn't meet in our churches, or we have to take a certain vaccine, or we have to not go to work, or we have to shut down our businesses. Government affects all of our lives, but most of us are asleep to that fact. So what needs to happen is before we get into a place where we start losing our freedoms, we need to understand and start engaging with government. And so that's what we do with Christians Engage. We call every Christian to pray regularly for their elected official, to vote in every election if they are citizens and can vote. That is one of the most powerful things we can do. And then even if you aren't a citizen, you can start engaging, like really looking at who the elected officials in the area are, campaigning against the bad ones, or trying to get good people elected, even through your volunteerism. So there's lots of things we can do, and people can go on our website to christiansengage.org and take our pledge to pray, vote, and engage, and we'll help them never forget an election again. But yes, we need to have revival ultimately. We need to have Christians wake up that God is the answer in our nation and start realizing that them as individual Americans are the voice that the founding fathers wanted to have heard. It's people that should have the power.
La señora Bunni le acabo de preguntar que si lo que está pasando en Panamá, que es un revivir de las masas, donde se están dando cuenta que el gobierno no está haciendo nada por ellos y se están tirando a la calle, están dispuestos a perder su vida para poder que Panamá sea liberado de una dictadura o de una decisión completamente errónea de dejar que una minería rompa la ecología y afecte por futuros de miles y miles de personas el país, que si eso puede pasar aquí en los Estados Unidos. Y dice que realmente se podría pasar. El problema es que en Panamá están despertándose. Se está despertando Panamá. Ahora, ella dice que los Estados Unidos todavía no se ha despertado, que tenemos que despertarnos, que si en Panamá están orando, porque en Panamá todas las manifestaciones, la gente está orando, la gente está caminando y no hay balas y no hay muertos. ¿Por qué? Porque la gente está peleando. Hubieron al principio problemas, pero ya la gente se está dando cuenta que no es mediante la violencia, sino mediante protestar para decirle al gobierno que no. Los Estados Unidos podemos hacer eso mediante presentarnos con organizaciones con Christian Engage y asegurarnos de que nosotros tenemos una voz. La voz del gobierno no es la voz del pueblo con el gobierno. Nosotros elegimos a los gobernantes, ellos tienen que hacer lo que el pueblo quiere y la única manera es que nosotros le digamos al gobierno no, ustedes no lo van a hacer, nosotros lo elegimos, nosotros queremos esto u otro, nosotros podemos decidir. ¿Cómo lo podemos hacer? Si usted vive aquí en los Estados Unidos, tenga o no tenga ciudadanía, pueda votar o no pueda votar, usted puede automáticamente decir que no. ¿Por qué? Porque tiene una voz. El hecho de que usted haga campaña contra una persona que está haciendo un desastre, eso ayudaría a que las personas que pueden votar se den cuenta de lo errado que están cuando van a votar por ese candidato. Ustedes pueden apoyar a los ciudadanos americanos y hablarles de la verdad, de cómo ustedes ven que el socialismo está afectando nuestras trincheras y cómo podemos ayudar a los Estados Unidos para que se despierte completamente. Bunni dice que ustedes pueden orar todas las semanas, todos los días, orar, leer, averiguar y estar activos civilmente. Poner sus pancartas afuera, aunque a usted no le guste, vea lo que usted es un ciudadano americano, usted puede explicarle a un ciudadano americano en español, tú puedes votar, ve a votar. Hay en estos momentos un desnivelaje, me lo dijo Bunni al principio. No se puede decir quiénes están votando más o quiénes no están votando más, pero de seguro nos estamos dando cuenta que los cristianos en estos momentos no estamos ejerciendo el voto como debemos hacerlo, tanto cristianos católicos como cristianos que no son católicos o protestantes. Tenemos que ir a las urnas a votar. ¿Por qué? Porque si no votamos no podemos decirle al pueblo, al gobernador o a la persona, ven acá, te elegimos como debe de ser o no te queremos porque tu plataforma no sirve. Okay, I'm just letting them know since the beginning what you told me that basically that there's not a valid amount of people that are voting or not voting. That basically the Christians are not voting as they're supposed to. That they're gonna go. They need to go to vote because by voting they're able to say, you know something, your platform I don't like it, or your platform yes I like it and I appreciate your platform because it's gonna help so many people. So being part of Christian Engage, do you have people that speak Spanish within your organization?
We do. If a church wants to bring in a speaker, we work with Rafael Cruz or Bibi Yola, who's his niece, that are fluent Spanish speakers. We have a couple other Spanish speakers as well. But we would love to engage in your community. We haven't had the opportunity to translate our entire website, though we did do that in 2020 into Spanish, but we haven't had the funds to maintain that. But we would love to help you any way we can, and hopefully we'll have some Spanish materials in the coming days. But
Le
we do a
pregunto.
lot of outreach in churches in Spanish.
Ok, ella dice que si ustedes necesitan que alguien vaya a hablar con ustedes acerca de la Biblia, acerca de las cosas que son referente a Dios con lo que se llama la política misma, sí tienen al pastor, el reverendo Rafael Cruz, que es el papá del señor Ted Cruz, para que sepan. Él puede ir directamente junto con la sobrina de él, pueden ir a la iglesia que ustedes deseen. Ustedes los llaman a ellos, se comunican con ellos y ellos pueden atenderlos y pueden y tienen panfletos y cosas en español para ayudarlos y pueden hablar como comunidad de cómo ustedes como comunidad pueden actuar para que esto pueda hacerse, para que la antorcha de la libertad, de la verdad y de lo que es la palabra de Dios llegue a todas las esquinas del continente, de los Estados Unidos, de todas las ciudades, donde podamos decir, sí, pudimos elegir libremente o no queremos, tenemos una voz. Aunque usted no vote, usted tiene una voz. Y eso lo dice ella. What else would you like for the community, the Hispanic community, to know before we close our talking? Because I know you're busy and we have to go as well. So let me know what is it that you want us to convey this information to them.
I just want them to realize that the sanctity of human life, family values, freedom as it relates to economics, these things are inherently in the Hispanic community, and I know you all care about them so much. So you need to do research. You can't just go off of who you're voting for based on a political party label. You need to look and see what the political parties believe and how that aligns with your family values. And I think you'll be shocked to see that it's not always as you think. And I would just encourage you to educate yourself on the democratic process here in America and grab my book.
Exactly.
Business and Politics. And Barnes & Noble and Books A Million got them delivered early. So most places you have to wait till February to get it. But if you order it from Barnes & Noble or Books A Million, they will actually ship it out early. So
ella dice que lo que ella quisiera comunicarle a la comunidad hispana es lo siguiente. Nosotros somos bien concentrados en los valores cristianos, valores familiares, los valores de unión, los valores de libertad y de camaradería, ¿ok? Esos son valores que son íntegros de la comunidad hispana. Tenemos que pelear por ellos, la manera que se mantengan, para que se mantengan a flote y que podamos continuar con la paz que estamos buscando, donde salimos de nuestros países para acá. Cuando venimos a los Estados Unidos buscamos libertad de expresión, libertad de economía, libertad de dinero, de finanzas, todo eso, la libertad política, en no estar presionados. Personas que vienen de Nicaragua, que vienen de Venezuela, que vienen de Cuba, ellos saben claramente lo que es vivir en un narcisismo político increíble, donde la persona que gobierna esos países toma el control hasta de la manera de cómo caminas, cómo comes, cómo te bañas o qué es lo que tú haces. Eso tenemos que nosotros mirarlo. Y esas personas que están aquí de esos países pueden decirles a usted lo malo que es un socialismo y lo que ustedes pueden hacer para poder educarse, para poder buscar la manera de leer y entender la política a nivel nacional de los Estados Unidos. No llevarse por un solo partido político y lo que ustedes crean. Muchos venimos con ideas de que el Partido Demócrata es el que está en nuestros países y por eso tenemos que vivir venir acá y votar por el Partido Demócrata o por el Partido Republicano. No, señores, los partidos aquí son completamente diferentes a los que nosotros tenemos en nuestros países. Y lo digo, por ejemplo, en mi país, en Panamá, el Partido Demócrata cristiano es cristiano, pero el Partido Republicano, el PRD, no es cristiano. Automáticamente, acá en los Estados Unidos, el Partido Demócrata tiene liberalismo, el Partido Republicano es más conservador. Así que usted tiene que ver las diferentes ámbitos, lo que usted puede elegir usted. Yo no le digo ni Voces en Acción, ni Lone Star Community Radio está aquí para decirle a usted por quién usted tiene que votar. La señora Bunni Pounds tampoco va a decirle a usted por quién usted tiene que votar. Eso no es, nosotros no endorsamos a ningún político. Lo que nosotros le decimos a usted, lea, busque libros que lo educan. Este libro tiene educación bastante para que usted entienda cómo es el proceso, mediante que Jesús trabaja con los candidatos políticos, cómo se da la verdadera reglas y los verdaderos gobernantes en nuestros países. Por favor, si los necesitan buscar, dice que están ahorita mismo en Barnes & Nobles, que es una tienda. Si lo quieren buscar ahí, está llegando temprano, lo pueden ordenar por Amazon, pero tiene un retraso de días porque ha sido mucho lo que han pedido sobre este libro y este libro está llegando a todas manos. Yo tuve la oportunidad de conseguirlo porque yo me encontré con ella en una reunión y ella me lo dio y me lo firmó. Pero sinceramente quiero que sepan que si ustedes pueden tener sus hijos que hablen inglés, sus hijos son los pioneros a poder leer este libro. I'm letting them know that even if they don't speak English, their kids are U.S. citizens. The kids speak English and they are able to read them the books and let them understand what is going on in the book. You know what I mean? So they can get the book and understand how to just absorb. I told them about Nicaragua, Cuba, and Venezuela that are struggling right now with the socialism, that they cannot get rid of that, and that we need to stop this madness. We need to come over here. We came to the land of the free, and I told them directly, they're here from the land of the free, running from a socialist country, and they need this land to be free. In order for that to happen, they need to, even if they're not able to vote, they're able to express themselves and say what is wrong and what is right. And they're always a voice. The voice is always heard. And then, of course, by reading and searching, that's the only way that we can do it. And praying. Without praying, they cannot do anything. Exactly.
Jenny, I'll say this. Can you imagine a world where every Hispanic voice just started vocalizing freedom to the next generation and the reasons why they came here, the reasons why they came to America is so important. And we have to sustain freedom in America. And so we need every Hispanic voice to sustain freedom in America
out loud
and to teach their children and grandchildren why they need America to be free.
Ella dice que claramente, mira, lo voy a repetir como lo acaba de decir Bunni, dice que cada voz hispana gritando libertad es lo que podemos necesitar en estos momentos aquí en los Estados Unidos. And I'm going to be honest with you, people understand, and I have to say this, people, and I keep telling people, we're no longer a minority. We stopped being a minority long way ago, okay? I'm going to be honest with you, Bunni, people don't understand, we're more even than the Anglos right here, right now. We're more Anglos, more than Asians, more than the Black Americans. But we have a silent community, a community that needs to start screaming. You know something? I'm here. I saw it happen in my country. I don't want this to become that. I personally came 40 years ago. Okay? I'm going to be honest with you, and this is my homeland. I was raised here. I went to college here. My 3 kids were born here. Guess what? This is my country already. I voted from Reagan all the way till now. That's the best it is. So basically, I'm going to be honest with you, Bunni, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, because we're needing this. We're needing people like you out there. I bless you, and I hope that God protects you every step of the way, because what you're doing, you're going against the waves. And when we go against the wave, we may be hit, but God is going to be cleaning you and protecting you every step of the way. To you, Mr. Tim, and all your kids and your family, okay? Le deseo a la señora Bunni lo mejor. Ella está peleando contra la marea. Es una de las mujeres que está peleando contra la marea. Y estoy muy orgullosa de ser mujer cuando yo veo mujeres como Bunni Pounds que dicen, no, hay que buscar a Cristo en todo momento. Eso lo tenemos que hacer nosotros como hispanos. Y nosotros tenemos que dar la lucha también y ayudarlos a ellos a luchar por lo que usted tiene en estos momentos en los Estados Unidos. La voz de poder hablar, de poder comunicarse, de poder decir lo que usted tiene que sentir y cómo sentirlo. El apoyo de la oración, prayer, oración constantemente por todos los gobernantes y el activismo, estar activo en sus comunidades para poder arreglar lo que está malo y poner lo que está bueno, siempre con la palabra de la Biblia. Gracias a todos ustedes por estar con nosotros hoy día. Thank you, Bunni, for being with us. Thank you for enjoying this short conversation. And I'm pretty sure that if you need anything from me from now on, Voces en Acción is your house. So just call me, let me know, and I'm here for you anytime. We're honored to have you. Gracias a todos. Thanks so much for all of you to listening to all my words today. I just want to make sure that you guys keep the freedom that I want it to be. My country is waking up right now. Please wake up, USA. Wake up. We need Jesus in every single part of it. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a good day. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Thank you, Bunni, for being with us. And nos vemos en nuestra próxima sesión. Bye, bye.
Esto fue Voces en Acción, el programa comunitario que informa a nuestra comunidad latina. Voces en Acción, la verdad en acción. Voices in Action, the truth in action. Hasta nuestra próxima edición.
Hi, this is Jenny with Voces en Acción. Let me talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank can help your dream of becoming a homeowner true. The new affordable mortgage program at First Financial Bank can be a great option for those seeking to achieve this dream for themselves and their families. They are here to help you. For more information, call First Financial Bank at 936-439-1800 and discover how First Financial Bank can help you today. That is 936-439-1800. The American dream is at reach at First Financial Bank. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. Hola, les habla Jenny de Voces en Acción y voy a hablar sobre un patrocinador de nosotros, First Financial Bank. First Financial Bank puede ayudar a cualquiera a hacer realidad un sueño de convertirse en propietarios de una casa. El nuevo programa de hipotecas asequibles de First Financial Bank puede ser una gran opción para quienes buscan alcanzar este sueño para ellos y sus familias. Ellos están aquí para ayudarle. Para obtener más información, llame al 936-439-1800 y descubra cómo First Financial Bank puede ayudarle hoy mismo. El número es 936-439-1800. El sueño americano está al alcance en First Financial Bank, prestamista de vivienda equitativa, miembro FIDC.